They told the world you were the one, and they meant it like a crown. But you felt it like a curse. Praise that dripped like poison, smiles that were really knives. Every whisper carried your name, not to honor it, but to chain it. And you carried those chains until your shoulders bled, until silence became louder than applause, until you realized the weight was never yours to carry. They wanted a savior, but they created a ghost, a storm hidden inside a coffin of expectations. And ghosts don't heal, they haunt. That's the truth they never told you. They don't want your strength. They want your silence. They don't want your fire. They want your ashes. But here's the crack in their design. The ghost remembers. The ghost refuses to stay dead. The ghost is learning how to burn. You've been polite too long, too quiet, too obedient. They wanted you to play the part, to bow when they point, to smile when they lie, but obedience is nothing but fear dressed as manners. And fear is the leash they tried to wrap around your throat. What happens when the leash snaps? What happens when the quiet one stops smiling? They'll call it rebellion, but you'll call it resurrection. You see, monsters aren't born, they're built. Built from betrayals that cut deep, built from silence that carves scars no one sees, built from nights staring at ceilings, promising yourself you'd never bleed the same way twice. They told you to hide it, to bury it, to act human. But what if the monster isn't weakness? What if the monster is the only thing keeping you alive? That's the secret they hope you never uncover. Think about it. Who benefits when you play small? Who smiles when you shrink? Who celebrates when you swallow your fire? They're terrified of you becoming what they whispered you were. They laugh at your potential until the day you use it, and then the laughter dies. That's why they crowned you too early. Because deep down, they knew. They knew if you ever woke up, the world would never sleep again. And now, the curse flips. The prophecy cracks. Their own words are coming back to strangle them in the dark. Because you're no longer the one they described. You're the one they fear. You're not here to fit their story. You're here to write the nightmare they'll never erase. Every step you take is a reminder that their world belongs to you now. And the only question left is this: will you let them live in the shadow of what they created? Or will you make them beg for the silence they once demanded? Sit down. This isn't therapy, it's an exorcism. I'm not here to heal you. I'm here to rip the mask off and make you look in the mirror until it cracks. Tell me, how many times did they laugh when you bled? How many times did they walk away when you needed a hand? And yet, you still tried to play human. You still tried to be gentle. You still pretended the fire inside was smoke, not flame. But I see it. I hear it. I can smell the ashes of who you used to be. They told you to bury the rage, to smile, to be polite, to take the betrayal and swallow it whole until it burned holes in your chest. That silence became your prison. Every unanswered scream, every unspoken truth, it carved you into stone. But here's the part they never wanted you to realize. Silence doesn't kill the monster, it starves it. And what happens to something that's starved too long? It grows fangs. It grows claws. It learns hunger in a way the world will never survive. You've been underestimated your whole life. Laughed at, ignored, passed over like your name was dust. And you thought that meant you were weak. No, it meant they were blind. Blind to the scars that sharpened you. blind to the nights that hardened you, blind to the demon they accidentally built inside your chest. Because demons are not born from comfort. They're born from betrayal, from rage, from silence, and that makes you dangerous. Far more dangerous than they ever imagined. Do you want to know why they fear you? Because they know what happens when the mask slips. They know that beneath the polite smile is a grin with teeth. They know that beneath the patience is a storm waiting to break glass. They know that beneath your silence is a roar that could shatter every lie they ever told. They don't fear who you are now. They fear who you'll become the second you stop pretending. So let me ask you, what happens when you finally stop holding back, when the demon they told you to bury stands up and breathes? Will you cage it again, feeding it scraps of rage, hoping it behaves? Or will you let it off the leash, watch it run, watch it devour every fear, every doubt, every voice that ever told you stay small? Because the truth is, your demon is not your weakness. It's your sharpest weapon, and it's been waiting. When you finally let the monster speak, it won't whisper, it will roar. It will shake ceilings, split silence, and turn every betrayal into fire. They'll hear it in their bones, they'll feel it in their dreams, and when they wake, it'll already be too late. Because the roar won't stop. The roar will spread, and the world will know that what they buried is now standing in the open, untouchable, undeniable. War doesn't start with a trumpet. It starts with footsteps no one hears, the quiet shuffle in the dark hallway, the eyes that don't blink when you turn, the silence before the strike. That's where real war lives, not on battlefields, not with flags, but in the shadows where trust is tested. You've been walking through it your whole life, betrayals disguised as handshakes, promises forged in smoke, smiles sharpened like blades, and you thought it was peace, but it was always war. They don't announce themselves when they come for you. Enemies don't wear uniforms, they wear disguises. They sit at your table, toast to your victories, and whisper in the next room about your downfall. Leaders in suits, lovers in silence, friends with hollow eyes, all playing their roles while sharpening knives behind your back. And you, the fool who thought loyalty was real, learned the first law of survival. Trust no one. Question everything. Bleed for nothing that won't bleed for you. True warriors don't wait for applause. They don't fight under spotlights. They fight in the places no one looks, in the alleys, in the shadows, in the silence where their name is never spoken, but their presence is felt like cold steel against the throat. You've been taught to crave recognition, but recognition is a coffin. Real power doesn't need claps. Real power moves unseen, and when it strikes, there's no warning, just aftermath, just silence filled with ghosts. They underestimated you because you didn't announce yourself. They thought your quiet meant weakness. They thought your stillness meant surrender. But here's the prophecy. They won't see you coming until it's too late. The invisible war is the deadliest because no one prepares for the enemy they cannot see. And you've been invisible your entire life. Every ignored moment, every dismissal, every silence you carried was a blade waiting to be unsheathed. You know why mercy won't exist when the war surfaces? Because mercy is for equals. Mercy is for those who earned the right to ask. But those who doubted you, those who laughed, those who prayed for your collapse, they are not equals. They are prey. And prey does not bargain with predators. They only run, scream, and pray their death is quick. But it won't be quick, not this time, not after what they did to you. And when the war finally surfaces, the graves will already be dug. The dirt will already be fresh, their names already carved in the silence of your patience. By the time they realize the war began, their breath will already be leaving them. Their mercy will already be gone, because you are not coming. You're already here, and the war they never prepared for is the war they will never survive. You don't rise from ashes, you drag the flames with you. Resurrection isn't gentle, it's violent. It doesn't whisper, it screams. It doesn't heal, it burns. The world told you to move on, to forgive, to pretend scars fade. But scars don't fade, they deepen. They don't erase the fire, they feed it. And you've carried that fire so long it no longer destroys you. It obeys you. You don't escape the flames, you wear them. They thought pain would break you. They thought betrayal would silence you. But pain doesn't destroy, it sharpens. Betrayal doesn't kill, it forges. Every scar is proof that you rebuilt yourself from smoke and ruin. You didn't heal, you constructed something new from the rubble. Something harder, something sharper, something that no apology, no prayer, no tear could ever dismantle. That's what they'll never understand. Your scars are not weakness, they're blueprints. They wanted you to bury your silence, but silence became your weapon. Every moment you swallowed rage, it sharpened like a blade in your chest. Every night you stayed quiet, the steel hardened. Silence was not surrender, it was blacksmithing. And now, every word you choose to unleash is not conversation, it's war. Every breath is not recovery, it's fire. The silence they forced you into was the furnace that built your destruction and your resurrection. This isn't recovery, this is transformation. This is violence wrapped in elegance. This is rebirth, where you don't come back softer, you come back untouchable. You come back untouchable because you no longer need their acceptance. You come back unstoppable because their weapons already failed once. You come back unforgettable because every time they see you, they'll remember the one mistake they made, thinking you could be erased. Do you know what terrifies them most? That you're not interested in healing. You're not interested in peace. You're interested in becoming something they can't define, can't control, can't cage. They want to call you broken, but broken things don't move like storms. Broken things don't rise like fire. You are not broken. You are redesigned. A machine forged in chaos, perfected in betrayal, unstoppable in silence. When the smoke clears, you'll be standing where their gods feared to walk. The throne they denied you will be dust beneath your feet. The flames they thought would consume you will bow at your command. And the ones who doubted, who mocked, who left you bleeding, they will tremble when they see what you've become. Because the fire didn't end you. It crowned you, and now you are the inferno they'll never outrun. They told the world you were the one. They were right, but not in the way they hoped. They imagined a savior, a symbol, a puppet dressed in their dreams. But what they summoned was something else entirely. They wrote your name in light, but it carved itself in shadow. They wanted you to save them, but all you saved was yourself. And now their prophecy twists like a knife, fulfilled but poisoned. They thought you'd be their cure. Instead, you became their curse. Every time they hear your name, it drips with shame. Every time they speak of you, their voices crack with fear. You aren't the hero they pictured. You're the wound they never healed. Your existence isn't their salvation, it's their scar. a scar they can't cover, a scar that bleeds whenever your shadow passes by. You haunt them because you survived what was meant to kill you. A scar they wanted to kill you. You're not a memory, you're a mirror, and every time they look into it, they see their betrayal staring back. They see their weakness, their cowardice, their failure. That's why they can't bury you. That's why they can't silence you. Because you're not just alive, you're a reminder. A reminder that they were wrong, that they underestimated you, that their attempt to erase you only made you immortal in the one place they can't touch, their nightmares. They tried to define you, to lock you inside their story, to twist your fate into something fragile. But fragile things don't burn forever. Fragile things don't rise from fire. Fragile things don't return sharper, darker, untouchable. You broke their definition when you stopped playing the role. Now you are not who they said you were. You are who they'll never escape. You are the shadow on their shoulder, the whisper in their silence, the pulse in their fear. Every time they close their eyes, they'll hear your steps. Every time they try to celebrate, they'll feel your presence at the edge of their joy. You've become the permanent crack in their illusion, the storm in their calm, the ghost in their sanctuary. And it drives them mad because they can't defeat what doesn't die. They can't silence what never asked for permission to speak. They can't erase what was carved into their souls with blood and fire. And when their children ask who you were, they'll answer with trembling lips. A nightmare that never died. A shadow that refused the coffin. A legend that outlived their lies. And in that moment, they'll realize the truth too late. You were never the savior they wanted. You were the reckoning they deserved. And the world will remember you not as their hope, but as their haunting, eternal, untouchable, unforgettable